Hi, and welcome back if you're here again. Welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Gilda, and today the topic is work-life balance. Does it even really exist, or what does it even look like? What are the 5 components that make up well-being at work / work-life balance? And what are a couple of key action steps you can take to design your ideal work-life balance? If these types of topics are helpful for you, please do like the video or subscribe or put in the comments below what other topics you'd like me to cover. So I was recently talking to some friends and clients on the subject of work-life balance, and it came up because I've been doing some presentations around the subject, and the kind of reactions I'll typically get are, well, that's really cool, but does work-life balance actually exist? Or an eye roll or a deep sigh, and I get it. I've been in that camp before where it's kind of one of those mythical unicorns that it's like a nice to have, but are people really living like that? And so I just wanted to focus on that question today because it has come up pretty frequently. And in a quick a quick answer is not exactly, and it's going to be different for everybody. And so I thought we would turn to the experts on the subject. And in fact, the folks that do the Gallup polls, they've written a book, and I think they've recoined the term work-life balance to now be well-being at work. And the name of this book is Wellbeing at Work: How to Build Resilient and Thriving Teams. And so this book is really chock full of some great advice and information that talks about the different elements of well-being / aka work-life balance, what that looks like, and it has some interesting strategies around how do you integrate that at a leadership level in the workplace. And I think it's great, and maybe we'll do a different video on that. But today, just wanted to focus on just the work-life balance topic and well-being at work. And so some of the insights and key stats I thought I'd share are, first of all, they did, in their research, they looked at 2 different groups. And the first group was an engaged employee, but not really thriving. So did not have work-life balance in check. The second group is an engaged employee, but thriving. So work-life balance in order, checked off all the boxes in terms of, what that looked like. And so when they compared the groups, the group that didn't have the work-life balance or well-being at work in order, they had a 61% higher likelihood of burnout, 48% increased levels of daily stress, 66% increase of daily worry, and double the rate of daily sadness and anger, which is kind of depressing. But I would say that, it's no surprise to a lot of us. And the 5 elements in order of, they said, priority that Gallup found in this book really make a lot of sense. So the first one, which they touted as the most important, is career well-being, meaning, do you actually enjoy what you're doing? Do you like what you're doing every day? Number 2, social well-being. Do you have meaningful relationships, friendships in your life? Number 3, financial well-being. Are you handling money in a good way? Do you manage it well? Number 4, physical well-being. Do you have enough energy to do the things you want to do? And number 5, community well-being, which is, do you like where you live? Do you like the community you're in? And that makes a lot of sense. And the other thing that they pointed out was that each of these categories are really in different silos. They are completely independent from one another, but at the same time, they're also interconnected. They're reliant on one another. So in other words, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this yourself. You have one particular area that you're focusing on, and whatever area that is, it's going to overflow into the other area and affect that area. So that's basically what they're saying. And so the good news is that, or actually, I guess in terms of a question around this topic, the second follow-up question I'll often get is, well, what exactly does quote-unquote work-life balance look like? Especially if, first of all, does it exist? And second of all, what does it actually look like? And I'll get that question a lot. And so the good news is actually you get to decide what that looks like. And I know it's like, oh no, it's all personal and custom and yeah, yada yada, you get that. But it really truly is, because one person's ideal life is going to look completely different from maybe what that version of that is going to be. But I think all of us really want solid relationships, some kind of meaningful work and purpose, good finances in order, and, good money situation, all the energy we need to do what we want to do, and a good place to live. So I think all of us want the same thing. So it is, again, not rocket science here, but it is going to have different flavors for each person. And so a couple questions to help get you started. So if you have a notebook or piece of paper and a pen, I'd recommend just jotting a couple of these down. And maybe you've never taken stock of this, or it's never occurred to you to do so, but I think it's a good idea just so you kind of know where you're at, and then you'll be able to look at what areas could be improved. And so that first question, again, and we're kind of just using the same framework that Gallup gave us here, which is question number 1, are you living your purpose? And I know that's actually a pretty big one. I know I struggled with that for quite some time on a personal level. I do highly recommend you do get clarity on that issue. And it was something that ate away at me internally for years and years and years. And I would encourage you, if you have not looked up or tried working with a life coach, I highly, highly recommend it. I wish I had discovered that quite some time ago. I would have saved myself years. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so are you living your purpose as number 1? Number 2, how would you rate your relationships? And that might look different. And I would also rate these from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, just so you have an idea. And it might look like, hey, you have a really strong relationship with your partner or your spouse, but the relationship with the kids could be improved, or vice versa. Or you have a strong relationship with your kids, and then with your own parents or someone other relative in the family you're close to, it could be improved. So it's okay that it might be all over the map in that regard. And then question number 3, what are your energy levels? And that can wax and wane during the day as well. Might be a good idea to kind of keep track of when you're at your best and when you're not. And then number 4, how are you doing financially? Are you feeling financially secure? Are things organized? Do you know where your money's going, how it's being used, and is it working for you? And then number 5, do you like where you live, and do you like the community? So those, again, just to give you an idea to start with. And then I would say from there, wait about a day or so and then come back and look at those same exact questions and really go through them again. But then ask yourself the question, what would I like in regards to this category? And I know it seems super, super simple, but those of us that write our goals down have a much higher chance of them actually coming to fruition on that. And then I'd also encourage you to get some support and help. So like I had mentioned before, I only discovered coaching like last summer. And so for those of you not familiar with coaching is kind of like having a roadmap with a built-in guide where you get to choose the destination you want to go to, but you have all the support, all the fuel, all the help and the guidance to help get you there. And you're actually building the map together with the coach. So it's a co-building process that you're figuring out along the way. You're maybe redirecting whenever necessary, and it's awesome. It gets you there a whole lot faster. So I, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be me, but I am definitely a resource. I'm a personal development coach who can help with any of these areas. And so, like I said, if you just start with one area and get some support and help on the one area, you'll naturally find that the other areas will start to improve as well, and then you can work on each one at a time. I also wanted to mention I do have a free guide on how to focus on your priorities in the link below. But if there are other resources or tools or subjects you'd like me to address, I'd be more than happy to. Please let me know in the comments below. And if this video was helpful, please like or subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.